Hi guys, it's Night Fear, and I'm coming on today to do my May wrap-up. It's a little bit into June, but it'll be okay. And I only have one physical book to show you. The rest of them are, I'm just going to show you the covers on my Kindle. I actually read 26 books last month. I just was a reading machine. I don't know what happened. I went from, I think, 13... in April, and then 15 the rest of the months this year, and then I don't know, the books I was picking were pretty good, and I just wanted to read them. So the very first book I read in May was GRAVEMAIDEKS by Kelly Kuhn. This one is about a world where when they're, I think it's a king, might be an emperor, I don't know. Anyway, when they die, they pick grave maidens, and these girls have to go into the tomb with their ruler and basically be killed, you know, with him, so that they can go into the afterlife with him. And they think it's a great honor to be picked for this. But anyway, our main character, her sister, is one of the ones that were picked, and she is on a quest to save her sister. It was a pretty good book. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed reading these characters, and yeah, it's been a while, and a lot of books since then. So I'm just kind of remembering brief impressions. I think next month I'm going to start writing down my impressions as I go through, so it'll be easier when I do these wrap-ups to give you guys more of an idea of the book and what I thought about it. But I really enjoyed it, and I definitely would recommend this one. So the next one I read is Namesake by Adrienne Young. And this one is the second one I think it's the Fable series. I can't remember if it's got another name, but the first book is Fable. And of course, since this is the second book, I can't really tell you what this is about. But the first one is about this girl who is left on this island when she's young by her father to basically fend for herself. And then we follow her, and as she tries to find her father and basically get what she thinks is owed. And so this is kind of a continuation from the first book. I really enjoy Adrienne Young's writing. I did read the other series about the Vikings. I can't remember it right now, but it was really good. I really enjoyed that one too. So the next series that she writes, I'm definitely going, because she seems to like write series, but I'm definitely going to read those two. And this one I also gave a 4, and I can't remember why. I'm thinking it was maybe a little bit of the pacing. Maybe it got slow in parts from what I was thinking. But all in all, I really, really enjoyed this. All right, so the next one I read is The Dark Tide by Alicia Jasinska. And this one is about a world, and it's an island, not a world. It's an island where they are protected by witch queens, and the witch queen, every so many years she picks a sacrifice, and usually it's a guy. And so they have this party, and the queen goes around and she picks her sacrifice. And this year, our main character, she is convinced that her brother is going to be picked, so she does whatever she can to not have her brother killed, and things happen. And this is queer, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I gave this one a 4 also. This one does have some problems through it, with some of the things that happen, but it really is a good book, though. I would recommend it, especially if you like kind of different kind of witchy books. But yeah, I really like this one, and I liked how it ended. So yeah, I would recommend this one. So the next one is called The Enemy by Charlie Higson. This is a zombie book that's not a zombie book, and let me explain. So what happens is there's a sickness that goes through the world, and it's 17 and older, or it might be 16 and older. I can't remember if 16-year-olds are in which group they're included in. But anyway, the sickness either kills them or turns them into zombie-like creatures. Now, they don't die and come back. It's like a sickness where they crave to kill and to eat anything. It's just not people. They kill animals too. And so we're following this group of children in this store at first who have survived this plague. And this is a series. I've only read this book so far, but I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. And it was so good, and I can't wait next month to continue this. This is one that we're following people, and yeah, there's a lot of deaths that surprised me too. This is an author that is not afraid to kill main characters, just to be warned. So if you're reading this book and have a favorite, be prepared. But I really did like this, and if you like zombie books, I definitely would recommend, even though technically they're not really zombies, but yeah, they are. So, yeah, I would recommend this one. But yeah, 4 stars. Okay, now the next one is a very disappointing book. That is Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. I love the beginning of this book. It was so good. It's about well, they call them AFs, an artificial friend, but they're like AIs. And you're following this particular one, and she's in her store, and you're from her perspective, and so she's talking about how she sees the outside world and things like that, and so it's really interesting. And then she gets bought, and then that's still great. Now, about the last third, I think about the third of the book, it kind of goes downhill. It goes on the girl has this quest, or the AF has this quest that she's doing for this girl to help her, and this quest is so silly. And then the end of the book, it's like you're like in this story, and then it just like stops, and then she's in a different place, and it just ends, and it's like, well, how did she get there? Why is she there? It's like I was so disappointed in this book. I gave it 3 stars. Just because the beginning was so good. If it wasn't for the beginning, I probably would have given it 2 stars, because I was so disappointed in the ending of this book. And I've heard such good things, and I was so sad. But I might try another one of this author, just because the beginning was so good. But I don't know. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would recommend this book. But if you're interested, try it anyway. Don't listen to me, because sometimes, I mean, you might like that. You might like the ending the way it was. I just did not. Now, if you guys have read this, let me know if your opinion is the same, or if you're totally, if you have a totally different opinion. Okay, so the next book is, whoops, it didn't. Let's get this. Is Winter Keep by Kristen Kishore. This is the 4th book in the Graceling. It's like realm. It's not, I mean, they're kind of companion books, but it kind of well, this one definitely continues from Bitter Blue. So this is a continuation from Bitter Blue. But like the first 2, Graceling and Fire, we have some crossover, and just like the characters from those are in these sort of, but we're following Blue as she is the queen, as she kind of, she finds a new, or they're found a new country, a new place, and so they go to see this, and there's some mystery, and some stuff happens, and it's really good. I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 4 stars, because it does drag a little here and there, but I really like hers. And there's actually going to be a 5th one, and it's going to be following Hava's perspective. If you've read these, then you know who that is. So I'm really excited about that. It doesn't give a date yet of when that's going to be published, so I'm just going to have to wait. And all her books seem to be rather large, she doesn't write small books, so I can't wait. And I'm excited because I really like her writing, especially the Graceling. All right, so the next one is The Missing of Claire de Lune, and this is the second in the Mirror Visitor series by Christelle Debeau. And this is a translated work from French, I think it is, if I remember right. Like I said, and this is the second one. I can't remember what the first one was called. And I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It follows our main character from the first one, and I can't say a lot because it's the second one and I don't want to spoil it, but she's basically continuing the stressing and the issues she has in the first book. And things just, I don't know, she just doesn't have the best luck. And that's all I'm going to say. If you enjoyed the first one, I would highly recommend that you continue. And I cannot wait to read the third one. I'm hopefully going to be able to get my hands on it and read that one next month. But yeah, but 4 stars. I definitely like this one. Okay, now my next one is actually the physical book that I have, and that's The Diabolic by S.J. Kincaid. Now this is one I got at Ollie's, and I saw this book and I saw this book, and for some reason I didn't buy it. For months I didn't buy this book. And finally I was like, okay, I keep seeing this book, I'm gonna buy it. So I bought it, and then it sat on my shelf. And for some reason last month I just decided, what the heck, and I read it, and oh my goodness, why didn't I read this book? I gave this one 5 stars. So this is my first 5-star read for the month. And oh my gosh, it's so good. So they have diabolics, which are basically bodyguards, and they are raised, they're grown, they're not born, they are grown, and they have certain traits, and they're almost like an animal. They impress them to one person, so that way that they will not kill that one person because they're very deadly, and they are loyal to that person. Okay, so we're following one of the diabolics, and she is given to this girl, and because of reasons, this girl is kind of threatened, and so she ends up taking her place because her family is they're very secluded, and so nobody really knows what she looks like. And so this diabolic takes her place, and she has to learn how to go to court, not court like judge court, but court oh my goodness, what's it called? Like king, queen court, how they have court. And so she has to manage that. And so it's got some political stuff, and some stuff is going on there, and then other stuff happens. And yeah, it was so good. And I really love, and it's a series, and I ended up reading the second one, and I'll let you know. And hopefully next month I'll read the third one. But yes, I would highly recommend if you haven't read this book. It is, like I said, it is so good. And because it's like a sci-fi fantasy, I would definitely recommend this one. Yes. Okay, so the next one that I read is We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Fazel. This one was really good. I gave this one 4 stars. This is about a girl who... Okay, so there's these woods that have all these things in it. And so nobody goes into it because when you go into it, you end up dying. There's not anybody that can go into this forest, and she's one of the few that can go. And so she hunts for her family and for her town. But nobody knows she's a girl because girls are they're very put down in this particular place in this world. And so if she was found out, she might be killed or her family might be hurt by it. So she hides herself. And then she ends up getting this quest to find this artifact to save magic, because there is no magic because some other stuff happened. It's like this long story, and I'm not going to tell it. You need to read it and find out. But anyway, she ends up getting with this group of people, and it's strange how they kind of come together, and it's different races in this world. And then there's also an assassin that's also sent after this artifact to try to get it. And there's just this evil thing in the world too that you find out about, and there's just so many layers to this story that I would highly recommend reading this. Especially if you like Arab type stories that are like, you know, deserty kind of, that kind of fable, like the jinns and the ifrits and all of that. That is kind of all in this story. They're kind of weaved into this. So if you like those kind of stories, I definitely would recommend this one. It was very, very good. All right, my next one is... Zara Hossein is here. Well, this is one I really wanted to read, and this is by Sabina Khan. I gave this one 4 stars. Okay, so this is queer, but it's not really, that's not really the main focus. The main focus is this family is trying to get their immigration status here in the U.S., and they're trying to, you know, be under the radar, and so she's... I mean, kind of her queerness is kind of because she's trying not to do anything that's going to upset that. And some stuff happens. She has this one boy that her, you know, constantly is after her, as far as insulting her and putting her down and calling her a terrorist. And, because I think they're from, is it from Pakistan, I think, or Iran? I think it's from I think they're from Pakistan. I could be wrong on this one. But I think that's where they're from. But anyway, they're from a terrorist, okay, see the thing, country, and they are Muslim, but they're not really practicing Muslim, because her family is really cool about stuff, and she, yeah, and so this boy kind of terrorizes her. Anyway, it goes from there, and some stuff happens, and the reason I gave it a 4-star is just kind of the ending was too... It was a very convenient kind of an ending, and I didn't really like it. I didn't really like where it went, but I did enjoy the story as a whole. So yeah, definitely 4 stars, and I definitely recommend it. So our next one is, Mallory by Josh Mallerman. This is the sequel to Bird Box. I gave this one 4 stars. Same thing with the other one. I still wanted a little bit more about what was terrorizing them. We do get a little bit more, but still not enough. And I listened to this on audio. I'm going to try to get this book as soon as I can find it, because the only way my library had it was on audio, and I want to read it again just to see if I missed something. But it's really good. I mean, it definitely, you definitely get that suspense from the first one. And you know, you're following her and the kids again, and yeah, some stuff happens, and it's just really good, and it's really interesting, and I really liked it, and I would recommend it if you like the Bird Box. I would recommend reading it. Oh, and the audiobook was pretty good too. Okay, so then I read Untamed by A.G. Howard. This is a continuation to the Splintered series. This is just, if I remember right, I think there was 3 short stories. I didn't really like this one as much as I did the other ones. I gave this 3 stars. I mean, it was fun being back in the world, but the first story was really boring. And the other 2 weren't. I mean, I did like the last story, but it just kind of, I don't know. If I didn't read it, it would have been okay. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you want to read the whole series as well as, you know, like the little short stories and stuff, I would recommend it, but you don't need to read this to enjoy the series as a whole. Okay, so the next one I read, was The Empress. This is by S.J. Kincaid. This is the second one to the Diabolic. And we're following them from where it started. And this one is really, I mean, it's fast. It's just, and I gave this one 5 stars too. We are just back in the world, and you are just all in it in this book. It just goes really fast, and I can't really tell you anything because I don't want to spoil the first one. But we find out a little bit more about the world in this one. We go on a little bit of an adventure in this one. I mean, and things take a little bit of an interesting turn. And I can't wait to read the last one because I really want to find out what happens and where it ends up going, because it was just, I mean, like, the action is just, it's just all in. And I really would recommend this series, because it was really good. And I still just can't believe it took me so long to read the first book. I'm just, ugh. Okay, so then it's like we go from highs to lows this month. The Sanatorium, by Sarah Pierce. I was so excited for this book. I don't read a lot of thrillery type books like this, but this one just sounded so good, and I got it from the library, and I was so excited to read this. The first half of this book was so good. The atmosphere, it was creepy. It was, we had these killings, and okay, so basically what it is, let me tell you what it's about. This sanatorium is changed into this hotel. And at the very, very first, we have death, like in the, somebody gets murdered on the first page, I think, or the first 2 pages. So that happens at the very beginning of the book, and then years go by, and then we follow these characters that are staying at this hotel, and then some more stuff happens, and it's just creepy, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, who did this? And I loved it. It was so good, and then it just went downhill. The ending was so stupid. The twist was so stupid. I hated it. I did give it a 3 because of the beginning. I'm thinking maybe I probably should have given it a 2, but I don't like to give 2 stars. But I did not like this book at all. Let me know down below if you've read it and liked it, or if you agree with me, because I'm really curious. But no, no. It made me think maybe I shouldn't read books like this, thrillery books. I don't know, maybe I shouldn't. But then I read a book later on that I'll tell you about that kind of, I don't know, made me wonder, maybe I just have to be pickier about these thrillery kind of books. But this one is definitely a no. No. Nope. All right, the next one. Free the Stars by Hafsa Fazell. This is the second one to We Hunt the Flame, and this one just wraps up the first one. We continue the story, and I can't really tell you a lot, but it is definitely good. I gave this one a 4-star, and I think this is a duology, so I think this is the last one. And I just really enjoyed this series, and so I think I'm going to try to read more from this author, or if the author doesn't have anything else, then I'm going to wait and see what else they write, because, yeah, these books were really good. And it ended really well. I liked the way it wrapped up. Yeah, I mean, it was just a really good, 2-book duology. I'm pretty sure this was a duology. Okay, our next one is Between Two Kingdoms by Sulika Jaoud. This was my nonfiction book for the month. This was such a good book. This is a queer book, sort of, but that's not the main focus. We are following this woman as she's going through her life, and she's having pain, and she's going to the doctor, and they can't figure out what's going on, and finally she gets diagnosed with an illness, a life-threatening illness, and then she survives it, and then it's kind of like her going through it, and then like what happens after. And it's so good. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I would definitely recommend this one. It's very powerful. Yeah, I really liked it. It was really good. All right, the next one is The Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer L. Armentrout. She's got to be one of my favorite authors. I gave this 5 stars. This is the 3rd book in the Blood and Ash series. And of course, I can't really tell you anything, but this one is about a girl who, not this one, but this series is about a girl who is the, oh, what do they call her now? Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, she is like the chosen one, and she's the maiden, I think it is. Oh, I can't remember. But anyway, she's like the chosen one, and she's not allowed to talk to anybody, and nobody's allowed to see her. And she can't, you know, there's so many things she can't do, and she's a little wild, and she sneaks out, and stuff happens. And yeah, this one was amazing. 5 stars, and I can't wait. The next one comes out next year, and I don't know what it's called. There's not a name. There's not anything except for it's coming out sometime next year. But I do know there's a companion novel, I think, that's coming out, and then from what I understand, you should read the companion novel before you read the next one, because there's some stuff that happens in that one that's pertinent to the next one. So I definitely need to read that one. I think it comes out at the end of the year sometime, October, November, I think. But yeah, anything she writes, I'm going to read. I've read so many different books from her and just love them all. There is some sexy scenes. She is definitely a sexy time writer. So I don't really enjoy those too much, but I don't know, her romances are interesting. There's usually some snarkiness, which I love. And just, I don't know, I just really love her book. So if you've read Blood and Ash, I would definitely highly recommend you continue, because things are getting interesting. And let me know if you like her too. Okay, the next one I read, The Lost Village by Camilla Stent. Now, just for some reason, I don't know, I saw this one, somebody was talking about it, and I put it on my recommended list for my library, and it came in on my ebook. And so I thought, okay, I'll try it. Oh my goodness. So where the Sanatorium let me down, this one, no, it didn't let me down at all. So we're following this girl whose grandmother was a part of this village, and she was not living in the village when everybody disappeared, except for a baby and a woman who was found on a pole. And so she has decided that she wants to go to this village, and in this village, it was like, I think 60 years, if I remember right, since anybody has really been to this village. And so she tours it, wants to do a documentary and about it. And so her and a film crew go, and stuff happens. And it's just, I didn't see the ending coming, and it was amazing, and I loved it, and it was just creepy. And I would highly recommend this book. I gave this one 5 stars. And oh my goodness, yes, read this book. If you like thrillery, creepy, kind of, yes, read this one. Read this book. It was just so good. And I want to see if this author has anything else. This is translated, so I'm not sure how much she would have here, but I'm definitely going to see if she has anything else, because I do want to read some more from her. Okay, the next one is Middle Game by Seanan McGuire. This is about, now see, I hardly ever know, I remember characters' names, but this one is about Roger and Dodger, because, I mean, how can you not remember those names? These are about twins, and these were also kind of created in a way, kind of. The beginning of this book is really weird, and so it took me a little while to get into it, but it's all about this person who is he's basically trying to make himself God, and be like, he's trying to find this way to harness powers that he shouldn't be harnessing, and it's about alchemy, and it's about how these twins can encompass this power, but they can't be together, and it's about how they keep finding each other, and being torn apart, and just oh, it's so good. And it was I gave it 5 stars. I really like Seanan McGuire. I also like when they write as Meyer Grant too. Very good, very good. I highly recommend this one also. 5 stars. Our next one is The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi. This is about a group of thieves, and then they get kind of caught, and then they get into this, where they have to steal this, I can't remember what it is they're trying to steal, but they are hired basically, convinced that, so that they don't get punished for them being caught for the other thing that they stole. And it just, no, I don't think I like thief stories. I gave this one 3 stars. I didn't really like it. I don't know. I just didn't like it. No, I don't know. No, just didn't like it. And then I read The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornichek. This one, 5 stars. This one was so good. This is about a witch who can see the future, and Odin wants her to go deeper and see something that she doesn't want to see. She gets burned alive, and then she comes back, basically, and stuff happens, and it's got Loki in it, and then it's also kind of the end of the world stuff, and it's just, it's so good with the mythology and just all of that, and it just, so good. 5 stars, definitely, highly recommend, especially if you like Cersei, like that kind of, I would definitely recommend this book. Okay, then we've got The Silvered Serpents by Roshani Chokshi. This is the second one in the Gilded Wolves. I thought, well, I'll try it and see if no, not any better. I gave this one 3 stars also. There is a third book, and I don't think I'm going to read it. I think I'm going to DNF this series. I just didn't like it. I didn't like, and this one was even worse than the first one, because a couple of the characters kind of changed their personalities, and I just didn't like it. Yeah, I no. And I don't know, I mean, the writing was okay, I think. I might try some of her other books, because this is the first I've read of Roshani Chokshi, but I just didn't like it, and I don't know, I just didn't like it. Oh, and then we have Honor Among Thieves by Rachel Kane and Anne Aguari. This one I gave 5 stars. This is about these ships that are not really, they're sentient ships. They're it's almost described like whales, but people can ride inside them, and have these journeys. And so this is about a thief who, she kind of pisses off the wrong people, and the only way that she can survive is to escape on one of these ships. And so it's really good. These ships are just amazing. But there's kind of this is another one where there's stuff going on other than what's going on, like what you think is going on. And so I'm waiting for the second book. I have the second book on hold right now. And so I can't wait to continue this series. Like I said, 5 stars. I just really enjoyed this book. It was different. So if you're looking for a sci-fi, kind of a different kind of a sci-fi, I would recommend this one. And then we have The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. I love this book. 5 stars. It's about a queen who is hidden because people